Welcome to another exciting episode of the $1 Million Peddlers. I'm Paper Guy.
And I'm Mr. Magazine.
And I saw you shaking your head there because you know it's another exciting episode, don't you?
Yes.
It's Saturday and it's Bolo Day, everybody's favorite day. To anybody new to the channel, we attempt every Saturday to put out a Bolo video. And we got some good stories about the things that we sell, how we got the items, why you should look for these items, which is probably all you care about. I pick up my items, church sales, estate sales, flea markets, things like that. And if you pursue things through that manner, that's where you can find them.
Yes, you are correct. I find mine elsewhere, though.
Where would you find yours?
Well, we can start locally at my brick and mortar shop. I got drivers that go all over the country. We've been into Canada. We've had things shipped, thousands of magazines over from Europe, so just about anywhere.
Nice, nice. So what we're doing a little spin on this one over here is we enjoy doing this every once in a while. Usually the way we bring it is I put up items that I think have good stories, and you bring up items you think have good stories, and we talk about it. But every once in a while, we want the outsider's perspective. So I bring up your items, and I bring up things that I have questions or comments or things about, and vice versa. And is this one of those magazines that came from somewhere around the world?
This came from a large collection, but somewhere in the U.S., I can't remember. I bought a few big jet collections. You always find them in bulk, but they're really good sellers. This one especially was a little controversial regarding the black managers in baseball. I don't think there were any at this point in time, right?
Right. Yeah, no,
I think
definitely.
Was it Frank Robinson?
Frank Robinson,
yep.
So I've got a couple of questions about this, or a couple of comments about it.
Okay.
And this is one of the areas that and I understand absolutely why you do it, but you're using the listing code kind of hurt you on this one.
Just because it
eats up the space. Yeah. And I probably would have put Hank Aaron on it, but you didn't have the room for it. Right, unfortunately.
And my lister's not a sports buff.
Baseball fan, so wouldn't know Hank Aaron.
But again, he's right in the middle there. There's his name down below, so he went with he went with the two names at top.
Which aren't bad names to put by any means whatsoever. Right. But that really is a nice looking issue for sure.
Yeah, all famous players. Yeah, absolutely.
Every one of them is famous. Yeah. And to anybody out there who's not familiar with Jet, it's a great magazine. Because it's digest size as well. Yes. Easy to store, which is really important as well. Cheap to ship.
Yep.
It's got everything going for it, and I chose that one because it jumped out at me. Yeah. Just a neat magazine.
Very cool. All right, moving on for the surprise.
There you go.
All right.
Well, I got this one over here because who doesn't want hunky holidays?
Yeah, okay.
I chose this one over here just because it's fairly new. I mean, 1996. I guess it's 25 years old now.
But let's put it this way. Those guys don't look like that anymore. I can guarantee you that.
None of us are as handsome as we once were, I've heard.
And his hair, whoever that guy is, his hair is probably really short at this point. Patrick Muldoon.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
Nothing worse than the guy who's still rocking the long hair when he's in his 50s.
Fabio is the only one that can get away with that now.
But you got $26 plus shipping, so you got $34 out of a magazine from 1996. Now, it looks as though there's no mailing label on it.
No label.
So that does help. If you're not into magazines and you want to kind of break into it, mention whether there's a mailing label or not. You probably did down below, or people can see by the picture. People do value the ones without mailing label more.
Sure.
Kind of thing. One of the reasons why would be for they tend to be scarcer.
Yes.
Because you had to buy that from the newsstand versus getting it sent to your house. The other reason is if you want to get it autographed.
Autograph grading, it always helps having no label.
No mailing label. So I just want to bring this up just because you got $34 out of a magazine that people can find out there at estate sales. No doubt at all about it.
Absolutely. That's why I'm Mr. Magazine.
Yes, you are.
Next up, the old turbo tank.
I just put this up because that's something that I don't tend to be a visual person. Yeah. But that jumped out at me. That picture just jumped out at me when I was going through.
It jumped out because it's so blurry. It looks like it's a 3D movie or something. But the next picture is much more clear.
I didn't know. I wasn't even putting that up as a negative. It really, when you're looking through the list of your items, you see magazine, sports card, and then you see that. It's like, whoa, what is this? Right. And so I guess if you mix up what you're listing, something like that just jumps out at people and catches your attention.
Yeah, and it was $200, not complete, not in the box, and it was only from 2008. So.
Oh, wow! Yeah. I didn't even notice any of that. Again, the picture. So that is something you definitely can find out there for $200.
Yeah, if you see Star Wars toys at a garage sale and they're not complete, who cares? You still buy it.
Wow.
Absolutely.
So what would that be worth mint in box?
$500.
$500
Yeah.
in box.
And it's only 13 years old.
What did that go for new?
50 to 100, probably,
Okay.
probably 75 to 100. I'm guessing.
So that's-
yeah, it's not going to be 50. Too big to be $50. 75 to 100.
Oh, 20. So it's 2 foot long. Okay,
Yeah,
so
I mean,
it's a pretty
you know,
big size
at
item.
closeout, maybe you can find them for 50 back in the day. Who knows?
Okay, but that's again, I just put that up just because it jumped out at me. That was
Yeah.
all.
All right, moving on. Every Woman's Magazine, July 1951.
I put this up because again, we listed it. Or
Yeah.
you listed it 5 years ago.
Yeah.
What would you tell your listener nowadays?
American flag, I would say, at the very least. 4th of July, maybe, because it was July 51.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They're
Fourth,
holding the
4th of
flag,
July,
so, yeah.
Liberty,
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
Independence Day,
So
United States
it
flag.
was listed 5 years
Yeah.
ago, so hopefully we've come a little bit since then.
Yep, and that was the reason why I wanted to bring that up to everybody out there. American flag covers do sell. So if it does have an American flag cover, definitely do note that.
Exactly. Yep. Next up, I knew you were gonna find this hodgepodge.
Okay, thank you. That was
Yes,
my
hodgepodge,
Lodge. That was my question: is what is it and why is it?
We
And-
did this years ago just as a joke to see, because a lot of my listeners,
Well, I'm laughing.
a lot of my listeners like, you can never sell this, you can never sell that. This, no one's ever gonna want this. I go, I'll tell you what. Let's put a little lot together of just a bunch of hodgepodge stuff
yeah.
and see what happens. Well, it did take 5 years to sell. It only sold for about $35, but I got rid of a bunch of, I'm not going to call it junk, but I'm going to call it lesser collectibles that I really don't want in my inventory.
Now, if that stuff were smaller, you call it a junk drawer. That's too big to fit into a junk.
Right,
It's a
right.
pretty darn big desk
Yeah.
if that's fitting into the drawer.
Sure, sure.
But yeah, it just jumped out of me as saying, "What
It's
is
a
that?"
little bit of everything. Yeah.
I wanted a little story behind that one.
If
So
we had more time, we would sell a lot more of these things. Put them together.
that's true, though. Yeah, $35 out of stuff that, again, and anybody out there that doesn't do reselling, there are things we literally have nothing into. There are sites out there that have free stuff given away. You
Yeah.
can curb shop, et cetera, et cetera. But usually when a dealer says he has nothing into it, you didn't purposely buy any item in that.
Correct.
Yep. So all that means is it's kind of the leftover, the extras in a collection.
Yeah.
I go to buy stuff from you and you got a box, you go, it's $20 for a box. I start going through it and I see three $40 items. I bought that box for those three $40 items.
Oh, look, we got some Pokemon. Maybe they're hot now.
Oh, there you go. You
listed
gave it
5
away.
years ago,
You
yeah.
should- yeah, who knows
Could be
what's in there.
$30 right there sitting there with those foils.
Who even knows? But so that's what it means when a dealer says he's got nothing into it. It was a throw in some collection, or he bought something
Right.
for something else, didn't care about those items. So anything
Yep.
he gets out of it is gravy.
Sure. Yeah. Next up, all right, Nestle
Oh, I hit
Baby
the wrong
Ruth,
thing.
the
Let me
real
click
deal
on the see
baseball.
original listings.
All right.
Yep. This another thing that just jumped out at me over here. It's just kind of neat. I'm thinking it's probably, is that a real baseball?
Yeah.
Okay.
Baseball size, stitched up. Yep, sure.
Okay, because it almost looks like, if you look on the top, almost looks like the kind, like a
Spongy?
plush kind. Yeah, spongy
it's-
kind. It's
that's,
a real
I
baseball.
think
Okay.
It's pleather.
Nice. I used to rock a leather jacket back in the
But
day.
yeah, you can find these. They were probably, I think, mail-aways or something
Anyways,
like
yeah.
that. Yeah, very
It just,
cool.
again, it caught my eye because it was patriotic, red, white, and blue, kind of neat. And I think that is the kind of thing people can find out there. Now you know it
Sure.
goes for, with shipping, $25.
Yeah, nice stuff. All right, last for me, it looks like. Oh, the Inquirer, yes.
The only reason I put that one up is, and
She's so
nothing
pretty.
against Ms. Jones, but we have recently started doing the zoom in.
Yes.
That might not be one you do the zoom in.
No, yeah, exactly.
I don't know. But even these old Inquirers, do you have any idea what that went for? Probably $50, something rather like that.
Yeah, I think it was $50. I was a Billy Martin fan. We had 3 issues of Billy Martin articles inside, and they bought all 3 of
wow.
them for $50 a piece. I don't know. I think she got arrested, Carolyn Jones, for stealing Moe's hair.
That was a joke. If you're
Oh.
the estate of Carolyn Jones, do not sue us.
All right. We're just kidding here.
But yeah, that's just
It is the Inquirer, so who knows?
That is.
Anything's possible.
so that just jumped out at me as just being kind of just a cover that you would notice on a newsstand.
Yeah,
Let's put it that way.
I don't know when Inquirer started, but they had to have been late. Some I have from
That
the
had to
late
be an earlier
50s.
one.
Yeah,
That had
so
to be an earlier one.
Very
Definitely.
cool if you see them out there.
It's the last one yours or mine.
I think it is. No, it is for you now. Yeah, you ready?
I'm
all
ready.
right, here we
I'm
go.
seatbelted in.
Paperboy sales.
Oh,
right.
nice.
I thought this was a cool cover and a 9.4. And I'm always curious. Like, did you have this? Did you get it graded? Did you buy it graded? Do you buy from Heritage?
I picked it up at Heritage, and it was one of those few. I didn't make a lot on it. I think I made $20 on it. I forget what I took on it. I think I ended up making $20 on it.
Yeah.
But every once in a while, when you're going at Heritage, anybody who wants to shop over there, I'm going to give away a little bit of a secret. Take a look. Well, number one, they will tell you what similar things sold for in grade, so kind of watch that.
Yeah.
Another thing is take a look at the grading population. And, on some comics, it doesn't matter. I mean, if an action number one, you want an action number one, it doesn't matter. Oh, this is only the 300th best one out there. Yeah, good luck. Good luck at the best one. But some of these over here, you'll tend to find they have low population and higher grades, and I think this is one of them. And I just figured somebody or other would want it just because Sweat Hogs, it's got an elephant cover, has a lot of different things out there to catch your eye. So I made $20 on it. Nothing great, not setting the world afire, but kind of neat to sell that kind of thing as well.
Well, in raw, can it be $5?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes to show you anything,
higher grade,
bronze age and high grade. If you can get it cheap, it's probably worth grading it. Really.
Yep. That's true too.
Absolutely.
True too.
All right. Next up for you. I always think this is cool. Asbestos. So 1930s. So when was asbestos turning like we got to get these out of schools and stuff?
They knew back in the 1930s because there were all kinds of suits about it. The Navy was using it back in turning into a history lesson.
You're seeing Satan spitting fire, so I mean, it can't be anything
They
good
knew
there.
back in the 1930s that it wasn't good for you, but they really didn't get to the push to get it out till like the 70s.
Gotcha, okay.
And I believe there's still one working asbestos mine in Canada.
Wow.
These days, I don't know what they use it for. I don't know, where it is. My favorite are it's a cover of, I believe it's Popular Science, with the guy from the 30s wearing the asbestos suit. And they were talking about providing that to firemen and all that. Yeah. For all its problems, it did work. It did work. That being said, it did have a few negative issues. But that just jumped out at me when I purchased it.
It went for a lot of money, too.
Yeah. I think I took $55, $60 on it, something or other like that. Condition's not the greatest. It's got some tears on it, et cetera, et cetera. But that's one of those things that just the visual sells it. No doubt at all about that.
For sure, yeah, very cool.
Yeah, if you take a look at the condition, folded in half, tear on fold, crease on top corner, small tears on bottom.
Wow.
So condition's not the best on it.
Yeah.
But framed up, that would look really neat.
Definitely, yeah. Next up, I saw you had two of these, and they were rare. So if they're really rare, how did you have two of these sell?
I actually had 5 of them,
Well,
and I put one in my collection and the other 4.
And where'd you get these babies from?
I picked it up in a collection of comics that I got from over the Michigan area.
Okay.
They're one of the few good things that were hidden in there.
Wow, you were the lucky one.
Yeah, all right.
Well, actually, I ended up selling you all mine.
Yeah, so I'm still way behind in the deal.
Maybe those were in the box I sold you.
Oh, probably were. You gave them away.
Screwed myself.
Yes, you did.
But how did you know the no number thing? Have you always known about that?
No, had no idea whatsoever until I took a look. If you look up on the left-hand corner, that's where the number's supposed to be. And I said,
true, yeah.
That's weird. There's no number. I don't think I've ever seen that. So I did some research on it, and sure enough, it is a difficult issue to find. I kept the highest grade one, and at some point I will send it in to get graded.
Oh, good.
Just for the heck of it, see what comes back. Because it's not an easy issue to find by any means whatsoever.
Now, what did the comps say on like Amazon? Have you tried that or no?
I didn't actually try Amazon, and I probably should have. I just put them all up on eBay. I don't think I tried Amazon just because I didn't know if it would be on there.
Because it's a rare variant.
Because it's a variant type thing. Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Good to know. All right, I know why I brought this up.
Go ahead.
Well, you end up getting how much for this?
I ended up selling it cheap. I ended up getting like $35, but it was because a guy that bought from me regularly.
Gotcha, because I had one of these a year or two ago, and I sold mine for $20, $25. I'm like, see, I don't know what I'm doing because I'm leaving a lot of money on the table there.
It really is worth $50 to $60, but this is a guy that buys from me regularly.
Okay.
And again, I wanted to give him a deal because I do appreciate his business, his regular business on it kind of deal. Sure. And he buys from me all the time. Yeah. So I left money on the table. And I did actually, I think I paid $10 to $15 for it because it was in higher grade. Yeah. So I didn't make a ton of money, but I made the sale and made a regular customer happy.
Yeah, it's a very distinctive cover. I remember having that, so it's good stuff. All right, let's see what we got here. Oh, I didn't do that yet. I just thought this was pretty cool. Don't get killed by mines and booby traps. So, I mean, there's not a lot of people out there that have the opportunity, though. Especially nowadays. But.
That is, as the person I bought it from said, probably good advice.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, it's pretty neat. It is a
went for good money.
It went for good money, and it's it definitely jumps out at you.
Yeah,
and it's 4x5 booklet, something or other like that. It was actually put out by the government to the troops. during World War II, warning them of all the dangers.
Right.
So a lot of those booklets, they were fairly common back
Right.
20 years ago when we started. Now they're starting to dry up and they're getting harder and harder to find. But this definitely is a good booklet. Do check comps on this kind of thing. I did find somebody had one of these for about $50, but not on eBay. It was on a different, like a military type site. That's kind of where I got my pricing from, and I think I sold mine for around $50.
Cool.
So kind of neat item.
Very cool.
And the last item is drum roll.
Southern 500 Darlington. Well, you should take it away. I just thought it was pretty cool. I've never had this cover, but the Southern 500 stands out. And Fireball Roberts, never heard of him, but also a cool name.
Very cool name. Very cool name. Yep. And that's one of those things that I'm not a racing fan by any means, but for some reason throughout the years, just dealing in the old racing stuff here and there, I know enough of the names. Fireball Roberts is a name that I would feature. Yeah. There are a few other people from back in that area that I say, oh, I know that name. He was a champion. I know that name. He was a champion. Right. And of course, I believe I put in a couple of the things in there. Yeah. Who the racers were, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. And just a neat little item. This is a deal that I ended up stealing, believe it or not, literally. Yeah. But the person was regularly selling programs from back in that era, and he was getting, I don't know, $5, $7, $8 a piece. 4 of them was what he was asking for them. Well, he had sold this, and nobody had ever paid for it, a small lot of them. Yeah. And so I happened by, and he's like, look, I just want to deal with this stuff again. And, it's the last lot that I had out of the stuff. Right. Just give me, and I think I ended up paying $2 to $3 a piece for stuff from that age. Cool. And so very, very neat. Definitely a lot of people following the racing from back then. So if you can find this kind of stuff, and one interesting thing, you can actually find a fair amount of racing stuff out of Pennsylvania. There was a track and all that kind of stuff out of Pennsylvania. So we're lucky enough that, some people from the southern tier of New York State would drive down into that area and get it. And I believe it was Mario Andretti. I think he got his start on the dirt tracks back then. Oh, wow. So if you can find some of that early Mario Andretti and that kind of stuff. Yeah. So definitely, we have the video up a long time ago talking about know your area. Well, if you live in that part of Pennsylvania, know that dirt track racing, you can find the stuff. And some big people came out of it. I mean,
well, we get Watkins Glen stuff all the time, early stuff. I mean, it's even around our area. Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of people came from Rochester down to Watkins Glen to watch the race every year. One quick question, a little bit more of a history lesson. Were you aware that used to be a road race? Literally was a road race back in the day.
In the U.S.
At Watkins Glen. Literally was a road race, like a Grand Prix kind of thing. Yeah. And one time, unfortunately, there was an accident, and a couple of people died that were watching the race. Wow. I don't know if a guy took a turn too fast or just he ended up in the crowd and killing a couple of people. Jeez. And after that, they went and they changed how they were doing it. Hey, we get everything on this. You get BOLOs, you get history lessons, you get everything here on this here channel.
Fireball Roberts. Ooh, well, if I'm named that and I have to choose my way to die, it'd be like a crash against a wall or something, right? I mean, you want to die in a fireball. I mean, it only makes sense.
It's crazy. That's a name. It's almost like certain names you're set up for certain things. Yeah. I don't think Edgar Wallace is going to be a great racing name. Right. Things like that. Yeah. Hortense. Talk about other names nobody's ever heard.
Who names their kid Fireball anyways, right?
That's true. Very true. You know what that he's either going to be candy taster. You can be a candy taster. Yeah.
It would be cool if his first name's Robert. Robert Fireball Roberts.
Fireball Roberts. There you go.
Yeah, we could do this all night.
We could. But people are getting bored, so they got to hit the like button now before they tune us out. And we will see you next video.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Big